devotion. My physical emotions show my spirit as an omen. I'm in motion like the seven seas. Connect with men and them who think like Elohim. My flow warm like a sunbeam. My third eye shine red like the waters in your bloodstream. Young king, my tongue shine without a tongue ring. My talking bling bling like it's nothing. Glowing like slick brick chains at its apex. You basic if you want love without the hatred. It's dangerous, having faith amongst the faithless. Just stay in tune with the ancient and amens. Prayers to the dead and those that deserve killing. Your life is a gift, your presence is Thanksgiving. And to the wise, every day is a holiday. And to my enemies, every day's a borrowed one. Black Storm. Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstorm here. Drop a 7 in the chat if you could hear me. Drop a 7 in the chat if you could hear me clearly, just so I know you're there. Just so I know you're there. I won't be on camera this particular video. I actually got to run an errand, but I want to drop this before it got too late. Looks like the volume is good. I see my face moving on the screen. So we're going to get into this video, this Kenderick Lamar Squabble Up video. And we're going to start. A lot of people have broke down the video already. I'm aware of that, pointing out specific details. But I want to talk about, in particular, the spiritual aspect of the video and the esoteric aspect of the video. So this way, you'll look at it a little bit differently. And, there's a part of the video where Kendrick is dropping, again, the exoteric, meaning the you could say the macro, what everybody's going to see, what everybody knows, different visuals from Compton and different things from the West Coast. But I want to talk about the micro details, the hidden details, and really how Kendrick created a ritual. Like, this is a whole ritual that is in creation. And, let's see it go down. And, I think it'll be something that will give some people some insight. And there's also insight into the future as well in this video, not only for him, but what's coming up in 2025. And we're also going to get into a little bit of this Drake lawsuit, the lamest lawsuit in hip hop history. Absolutely the lamest lawsuit in hip hop history. Never in the world did I think that a rapper would be suing another rapper for defamation. Like, can you imagine? Like, I was talking to some friends last week about this and they couldn't believe it themselves. So let's get into it. We're going to start by playing this. It's going to be edited. So if you didn't hear the song, you're going to have to go to another platform to hear the song, but let's get it started.
Babies woke up looking for the broccoli. I keep a horn on me. That come.
Well, actually, we're gonna start from right here. We start from right here. So in the beginning of the video, when you first see the video, what you're gonna hear is, and again, I can't play the audio for obvious reasons here on YouTube, but when you first see the video, the chandelier is the first thing that you see. What the chandelier represents is the pineal gland. And on your pineal gland and your brain, but in particularly your pineal gland, there's crystals on the pineal gland. The crystals are called magnetite crystals. Magnetite crystals, what they do is they actually connect you to animals. They connect you to the animal kingdom because animals also have magnetite crystals in their brains, in particular mammals. Okay, they have magnetite crystals, but also amphibians and all other animals have magnetite crystals as long as they have brains. So the pineal gland is also the doorway of, it produces serotonin, it produces melatonin at night. Serotonin is for mood, and melatonin is for sleep. Sleep takes you into the subconscious mind, aka the astral realm, right? It causes you to astral travel, causes you to dream. It also causes you to have visions because serotonin is produced during the day as well. So when you have daydreams, right, when you're visualizing, right, it allows you to see and perceive beyond the normal, or essentially to perceive the paranormal. So you may have heard about opening up the pineal gland. So this is what these crystals represent. The crystal, and even if you look at the shape of the shape of a chandelier is the same shape as a pine cone, which is what the pineal gland would be. So to start this video, the first thing they do is you hear a bling and the chandelier is hit. So what he's doing is, and this is actually, he's doing a spell. This is actually conjured, whether you know it or not, and whether you understand it or not. But you'll see as I go through the video, the conjure that he's actually doing, and this is part of it. So what he's doing is basically telling you in so many words to open up your mind, right? So the cling on the chandelier is to open up your mind and to open up your pineal gland, and see the vision that he is putting forth, but also the vision that is in you. Also, to even just start it, the color green that is in the background, green represents the heart. So he is engaging the mind and the heart, right? And all these things in Compton and where he's from represent his heart. It represents how he feels about his city. It represents what he loves, right? And there's different aspects that play out in the video. But the first scene is definitely the pineal gland. The chandelier represents, and chandeliers go up to 10, 20, even 30, some $50,000 chandeliers. Chandeliers could be very, very, very expensive as a decoration. So this is an expensive chandelier. You could tell by how many crystals it has. So he's also talking about the value of the mind, not just the pineal gland, but again, these crystals are on the brain as well, the magnetite crystals. So being that the green background represents the heart, and the crystals, the magnetite crystals on the pineal gland connect you to the outside world, right? It shows a connection. And this is all about connection as well. And unity, right? As we know, Kendrick brought the Bloods and the Crips up at his last concert. So started off with that, and we'll keep going.
God knows. I am reincarnated. I was stargazing. Life goes on. I need her, my babies.
All right, let's stop here. So the beginning. Now, Kendrick dropped this on a Monday. Monday is Moon Day. Okay, Monday is Moon Day. Moon spiritually is reflected in a symbol as the color blue. So the color blue always signifies the moon. Okay. Now you may think it's a gang thing because Kendrick's from California, but Kendrick is Kendrick. Yes, he is from California, but Kendrick also is not. He's not a. He didn't grow up around Crips primarily. He mainly grew up around Bloods, right? He mainly grew up around West Side Pyrus. So being that he grew up around West Side Pyrus, right, this wouldn't be his allusion to being a Blood. So this came out on Monday, which is Moon Day, right? And obviously you see he's right under the chandelier. This whole video, he's right under the chandelier, represent this opening up of the pineal gland, this opening up of super consciousness, this opening up of God consciousness, this opening up of rich consciousness, which is what the expensive chandelier represents, okay? Also, this is also a reflection of the Masonic trestle board, which we'll get into shortly, okay? Now, the chick to the left, actually we'll start from right. So right, he's representing his home, Compton, California. I lived in California for a little while, right? Well, no, I didn't live in I lived in California. I lived in the Bay Area, but I didn't live in Los Angeles. But from what I understand, that's the sign before you go into Compton. So again, he's telling you his direction and the direction of the album. If you heard the albums is primarily a West Coast album. Okay. So the album isn't for the East Coast. It's not an East Coast album. It's not a down South album. It's specifically to restore, validity and to bring vitality and to energize the West Coast. Ice Cube dropped the album the same last Friday when he dropped his album. Ab Soul dropped the album, I believe, either that Friday or the week before. So there's been West Coast albums that have been coming out. Snoop and Dr. Dre's about to drop an album. So the West has been energized. Also in Kemet, the land of the dead was considered the West. So they buried all their dead in the West. And in occultism, the dead, they are revered, they're honored. So you light candles to your ancestors, you give offerings to your ancestors, right? You have things like the Day of the Dead. So that all comes into place to why the West will be resurrected, because it's an ancestral resurrecting, so to speak. And also this goes into him bringing in things from his past into this video. Now, the young lady on the left, if you look and you see her colors, the colors she has on are black, white, right? And they're going to do a...
Woke up looking for the broccoli. I keep a horn on me. That come see. IP ownership. The blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off. I get off at my feet.
All right. So he says ownership. The blueprint is by me. Now he has on blue, right? So he's saying this is his blueprint. This is where he comes from. A blueprint is how you build a building, right? How you erect something. It's basically you being the architect. And again, he's wearing blue, and this happened on a Monday. So the lady on the left, she represents the actual casting of the spell. Now, I've been telling everybody, we've been talking about this for weeks, about the science of black and white, yin and yang, and how it represents the Masonic truffle board. For those that may be new to the channel, let's put this up so you can see it. And I know some of y'all already saw this, but we got to do this for the ones that haven't, and get into this real quick. And this will help you understand the video. Okay. So black and white, which is what the young lady is wearing. Okay. Black and white, what it represents yin and yang. The white represents masculine energy, not men, but masculine energy, the external energy. The black represents feminine energy, not woman, but internal energy, right? Negative energy, feminine, not negative woman, but negative energy. Difference, big difference. Okay. The internal energy, the receptive energy. And then the white represents external energy, right? But to normal people, normal humans, the black and white represent good and bad, right? Black magic, black death, black curses, black hexes, right? So people think of things in black pretty much overall as bad, whether we want to admit it or not. This is one of the reasons why I think melanated people should stay away from the term black as much as possible, but I digress. So, and the white aspect of the board, right, is represented as good, right, to the common man. Now, above the common man, right, this is where you get into the Freemasonry aspects of this. And Kendrick is playing with this as well, right? And we'll talk about how he's playing with this. So in Freemasonry, right, there is, and I'm not saying Freemasonry is necessarily evil. Everything is how you want to use it, right? But anyway, in this particular thing, what he's, so they have two pillars. The two pillars represent a doorway or a pathway, right? So good and evil is in the bottom, but there's a doorway, there's a pathway out of good and evil, right? So that's what the two pillars represent. One side, the side on the left, okay, is called Boaz. And Boaz means in strength. The side on the right is Jachin. And Jachin means he shall establish, okay? So he shall establish in strength. If you read from right to left, he shall establish in strength, okay? The moon represents the seven chakras. The moon represents the internal, the feminine. So there's seven chakras inside of you, seven seas, seven liberal arts, seven musical tones, right? Seven original planets in astrology. And we keep going on and on with the number seven. Lucky number seven, right? Seven wonders of the world. We keep going. To the left represents the sun. Okay, so the sun represents the masculine energy. All right, that represents what you're doing, the energy you're putting out, your vitality, right? How much light you radiate depends on how much vitality you have. So it's the masculine energy, the doing, the action, not the internal, but the actual external. And the G represents the heart, which is in the middle. The square and the compass. The square is the foundation. The compass is your surroundings, the things you have around you, the things that make you up. And the top is the eye of the perception. So if you look at Kendrick's video, you will look at this eye as the chandelier, right, that is on top when you look at the video. And you look at the pillars as the pillars represent he shall establish in strength, right? So let's go back to the video. So breaking this down, this is just an understanding. And you're going to see black and white a lot in this video, just to let you know that he's casting a spell, or someone that he knows about occult science and knows how to cast a spell. So we want to look at this as this board is being played out in this particular video. All right. So this is something very much something to understand. Let's keep it going. So let's bring it back to the girl, okay, real quick. So the girl's wearing black and white, all right? She's wearing black and white. And she has on a red bow. Now, remember, there's two pillars, because if we go back, there's things happening, okay? There's something happening on the right. There's something happening on the left, okay? So he who establishes, right, is on the right pillar, Jakim. That is the sign that he is holding up, okay? And strength is on the left, okay? So he's saying that his strength is in his inner self, his strength in his magic, his strength is in his culture, his strength is coming from California, from where he's from, right? And his strength is going to be in his ritual. So the red on top of her head represents the root chakra, but it represents what he's rooted in, right? He's rooted in California culture. He's rooting in West Coast culture. These are his roots. This is what he's putting into the video. So the spell with the girl wearing black and white, and again, I'm not going to have to convince you of this. As we go through this video, you'll see it yourself, that he was actually conducting a ritual, okay?
Me,
let's continue.
Mr. Get off, I get off and feet.
Okay, so she started crumping, right? Crumping is, of course, I used to live in the Bay Area. Shout out to Oakland. Shout out to the Yay, okay, the Bay Area. Shout out to Vallejo, all right? All of them people out there. And this part of, again, is, you know, the crumping is unique, okay? But the black and white, again, is a symbol of controlling perception, controlling the narrative, right? And conjure, because you need masculine and feminine energy to create anything. For any type of magic, you need imagination. Mind rules matter, right? So you need your imagination and you need your hands to create, right? So you need the internal of the feminine and the external of the masculine, but everything starts feminine. So this is why she is featured primarily to start the video. Let's continue.
Like, you nigga couldn't try me in a tri-state, buddy.
So now, remember in the previous thing I showed you, right, there's two pillars, all right? So he who establishes is actually the right pillar, right? He shall establish, pardon me, is in the right pillar. And strength is the left pillar. So he's establishing, just like he did with the sign on the earlier clip, right? Who he is, what he is, and establishing the ritual. But you also see the black and white as well that they're wearing.
Splash to me, high clear, south, no spoon town, eyes dilated. I got the penny and the power, both gyrate.
All right, so you should be able to clearly see the board being played out. Drop a 7 in the chat if you can see the board being played out.
Look, get the fuck out my face. Look good, but she don't got no time.
In the chat if you can see the board. If you can see the board being played out.
Man, don't.
So you should be able to see how it's sectioned off for a certain thing. Now, in this particular part, again, he's starting off with his past, right? This is the whole conjure, the whole ritual. So he's starting off with his past. And this room is part of a replica of a root song called The Next Movement. So he's representing the next movement, right? This is most likely Kendrick is going to drop another album, and it might be called GNX2 because he's referencing a lot of double albums in this video. Now, to the right, you see the people in black and white. Okay. I don't have to make this up. You can see this for yourself. They're in black and white, just like the first girl to start off, right? Because he is establishing something. He is establishing the ritual, and they're dancing in a circle, in a circular motion. To the left of him is his strength. He was, remember, he was raised around Pi rules. So the people closest to him that represent strength is going to be Pi rules. So he who established in strength, and it also represents that masculine energy to the left of the board, right? And you know, he on the back is E40. So that big Rolly watch, it represents E40's album in a major way, which was a double album. All right. And you know, the Crips, I guess those were his ops, but these are, you know, because he was raised around Bloods, I can only assume that. But this is a representation of the transformation. Again, this is his heart, and this is his going into the past, going into where he comes from, and there's going to be an ascension as he goes and continues to ascend in the ritual. All right. And this is not like a bad ritual. This is actually an empowering ritual. Okay. And so there's different, like I said, he's on offense, not on defense, right? He's doing conjure before conjure could be done to him. This album was dropped the first day of Sagittarius season last Friday. Okay. So he knows what he's doing. This is not something if you're a Kendrick fan, you know the things that he does and the things that he drops are very calculated, even numerically, with the album being 44 minutes. Okay. So let's continue.
What the fuck? I got
This video is edited to protect the innocent. That innocent is me. So you see these things in the video, they're to protect the innocent. All right. So this particular scene is, again, we're in his heart, right? And he's sitting under the chandelier, which represents the higher mind, higher consciousness, open pineal gland, right? Connection. All right. And these in the book, it reads How to Be More Like Kendrick, right? Little joke, right? But he has the balloons saying if you watch him and if you follow his moves, you blow up, right? Little egomania, right? But we'll let it pass for the spell, right? Of course, you got to empower yourself in the spell. You got to affirm yourself in the spell as well, right? You got to affirm yourself in your magic and your rituals. So that's part of what this is as well. The bikes are scraper bikes. So scraper bikes, I saw this again living in Vallejo. Vallejo's real close to Oakland, real close to San Francisco. And the scraper bikes are, and this is a positive thing. So the flags are the red RBG flags established first by Marcus Garvey, right? To represent, you know, the melanated so-called Black nation, right? So that was the flag that was erected to represent the nation. But this also represents, in this particular context, the scraper bikes, because the way scraper bikes are created is for spare bike parts. And it's something for the kids to do, you know, like it's a way to get them off the street. So they'll take these spare bike parts or these, you know, broken bikes, and they'll put them together and make unique rides, you know. So this is definitely a call for the Bay. Like, I don't know about California, but I definitely saw this in the Yay area. You know what I'm saying?
Cuts. I got friends, I got foes, but they all sitting duck shit is turf finger cracking, double back like a 50 deep, but it ain't deep enough. Fuck a plate, there you go, beat him up. Falling from a money tree, and it grow.
And again, if you look, you'll see, you know, you can see the black and white colors playing out. Again.
Fuck a plate, there you go, beat him up. Falling from a money tree, and it grow throughout the month. Spit a look, let the camera speed it up. Yes, us.
I feel. The hyphy is a call back to the Bay. So this is the next scene, okay? So that was what he wants to see. He wants to see, the last scene was about what he wants to see, like as far as kids, you know, being taken care of. And that theme with the children is going to resonate as we move further in the video as well. But he wants to see the kids taken care of. And he's like, that's what real Black nationhood is, right? People helping out the community. And you're going to see that more in this video too. People taking care of the community. People, you know, giving the children something to do that's creative outlets. All right. So that's always like, yo, you want to be like me, like, don't follow me, like, help your community. You know what I'm saying? Do things to help. Figure out how you could be of aid. Figure out how you could help your children. Figure out how you could help your children develop. And that was the main point of that particular scene. So we get into this particular scene, right? This is the Power Ice-T cover, okay? With Ice-T's at the time, Darlene, who is now on the 5150 podcast with Corey Holcomb. So that lady on Corey Holcomb's podcast was this woman that's on the Ice-T cover, 30, 40 years ago. So it's a representative of West Coast culture, right? But again, this is, the strength. So what the brother's wearing on his shirt, right? Let's go a little bit further.
Good, get the
Okay, so he has a Black Madonna on his shirt. If you notice, right, he has the Black Madonna. The Black Madonna is someone that the Pope actually prays to and honor. You just do a quick Google search of the Pope and the Black Madonna, you'll see that yourself. The rings say hood love. All right. So again, that's what the previous scene was pointing to. And then this is the next scene, but this is the first thing you see. So that was the message that he wanted to carry out. Also on the green and white, right? The green and yellow is a representation of Het Heru, or Egyptian deity called Het Heru. And Het Heru is the goddess just to save time, is the goddess of passion, right? Passion and imagination. So passion and imagination is what's going to bring hood love, right? And it is going to take a nurturing influence to bring that hood love, right? Hence Darlene, right? Representing power. Okay. So it's that strong feminine, because even though she got a thong on, right, she still got the gap. She still ain't nothing to play with. So the fact is there's two women, right, representing passion in different aspects of each other, is showing also a yin yang, right? And the power of creativity, which is what the Black Madonna ultimately represents, right? The Madonnas gave birth to Christ. So she's ultimately representing giving birth to something new, or giving birth to hood love, which again is another theme that continues to play out. Let's keep going.
fuck out my thighs. Look good, but she don't got no time. I want.
Okay. So again, you can't make this up, right? Black and white. All right. We've shown this already probably 3 times. Okay. Black and white. All right. Again, video looking like the Masonic trestle board. All right. And again, that is he shall establish this particular part of
Got with the side. Man, don't let me know what the squabble up.
Okay. So obviously, they're both wearing black and white, and the woman that Wes is in is wearing black and white. So the video is called Squabble Up. So this is what the hook's, right? The hook comes in, he's talking about Squabble Up. And it's also talking about you have to fight for her love. You know what I'm saying? You have to fight for what you're passionate about. And the girl in the back, you see she's wearing black and white pants, a black top. And this represents, she's actually was in the Not Like Us video as well as a dancer. So this all goes into the fact of the fight that you have to have in a spiritual being, the courage, and also the fact that the woman basically came in that was the guy in the black's girl, as we'll see.
Squabble up. Squabble up. Squabble up. Squabble up. Squabble up.
So you see they're basically both, he's taking his watch, right? And she's running his pockets. So this is another way of saying, to melanated people, from my perspective, that if you are, taking care of the hood, you know what I'm saying? If you're displaying power, if you're tapped into your inner self, right, that you will be able to create change, right? You'll be able to get the riches that you want. You'll be able to get the funds that you want, right? You'll be able to transform things, you know what I'm saying? And it will be like a robbery, right? But you got to squabble up, you know what I'm saying? You got to be ready to battle. Let's continue. And you got to have heart. You got to have courage, because for a woman to come in, you know what I'm saying, and just fight a man, that represents courage. Again, this is all about the heart. So the heart isn't just about, lovey-dovey Valentine's Day soft music shit. You know what I'm saying? The heart is about also having courage, right? You got heart, where your heart at? You know what I'm saying? When things happen, you know, so the heart will allow you to not only be strong, not only be courageous, but also have hood love and generate power and be cool as iced tea. Let's continue.
Squabble up. Squabble up.
All right. So again, more black and white. Again, more black and white. All right. All right. So the right is the Soul Train board. Soul Train was filmed in California. All right. And to the left is, you know, I definitely remember this. They did this in New York too, heavy. And this is a you know, you take pictures before the Instagram and all that. You know, this is how you got the chicks, especially women, got the fly pictures. You know, they would take them behind, you know, these boards, these poster boards that you would pose at, you know. So it represents that, but it also represents again the heart, right, and salvation as well. Let's continue because there's more to this. Okay, so this particular board, it says um, omnia est, and it says a liquid, and what that means is everything is something. Okay, so the fact that he has this that says everything is something, right, is saying that everything in the video has meaning, right? And also, again, this is part of the conjure, you know, he shall establish. So this is all about establishing energy and, you know, saying he's taking you on a ride, right? He's taking you on a spiritual ride, so to speak, you know. And Soul Train, you know, was big back in the day. So it's a testament and also paying homage to LA. But it's also about transformation and again, also more about the ritual. All right. Let's keep going. So you see the black and white right there. We don't got a cap. We ain't gotta speculate.
Funk, baby, rockin' it. Quid pro
All right.
quo, what you want? Cause I'm watching it. Work on the flow, let me know. Funk, baby.
Wait, we even get here. Again, you see them in black and white. All right. So Jesus saves gangsters too. So that is a reference to a actual church, right? We'll share this. So this is an actual church in California, in Compton. And you know, when you see these on your screen, don't save these cookies, all right? They're gonna track you. But Jesus Saves Gangsters 2 is an outreach ministry that was incorporated in 2000. Its beginnings can be traced back to 1969 when, as a gang founder leader, I took my gang to church. The church then is now lacked the ability to fully minister to those of the gang world. So I was recruited by that church to spearhead outreach to gangsters. All right. So this was a church for, again, this is about, you know, the conjure is about healing the hood, you know, about transforming things in the hood. Even on his album GNX, you know, he has a verse where he talks about wanting to unite the gangsters and heal the community. So Jesus Saves Gangsters 2 is not necessarily just about Jesus. This is about the big G in the middle, right? This is about the big G in the middle. The big G in the middle is the heart, right? That's the God force within you, your heart. What your heart is who you really are, right? Your heart is who you really are. So that's why Jesus Saves Gangsters is also in the middle, you know, because it represents how or what type of energy you're putting forth in the world. Are you operating out of a Christ consciousness? Are you operating out of a higher consciousness, right? How are you interacting with people? Do you look down on people that you call, you know, there's a thing now they call, you know, people from the hood, Pookies and Ray Rays. Well, they look down on them, you know what I'm saying? where they're treating them like they're less than. And in this, he's saying, nah, people in the hood are just as good as anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Don't look down on them. Don't look down on the gangsters. Don't look down on the thugs. You know what I'm saying? Because they need help and they need people from within the hood to help the hood. And as we go into 2025, again, this is a kind of a future glimpse, even though we're looking into his heart. This is what's going to have to happen under this presidency, right? Same thing people said in 2016, but it's going to get a little crazier, right? Because we see the people that Trump is putting in office, right? This video is not about that, but again, this is a pointing into community, right? This is the spiritual aspect of this whole thing and this whole ritual, right? And this is the rite that he is performing. And like I said, you know, these women are posted behind hearts, right? So they represent the internal, all right, part of you, and you know, the essence of love, care, concern, right? And on the right, again, that soul train thing says everything is something. So all things need to be respected, right? From the upper class to the so-called lower class. Let's continue.
Funk, baby, rocking it. Quid pro quo, what you want?
All right. So again, you know, black and white, again, that masculine and feminine energy coming together to create and give birth to something new, which is the basis of all magic, right? And if you could turn a negative into a positive, that is alchemy, right? That is what this whole thing is about. It's about alchemy and controlling your perception, which is one of the things K Dot is doing in this video. And there's a lot of subliminal messages.
Watching it. Work on the floor, let me know if you crocking it. Brody won't go, but I know that he popping it. It was wolf tickets on sale till I silenced.
Now, he said it was on go, but I know that it's popping it. Like, I remember, you know.
Brody won't go, but I know that he popping it.
Now, knowing that he's popping is definitely West Coast. Like, saying somebody's popping is like they talking trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, they fronting. Like, oh, you just popping it. Like, he ain't about nothing. He ain't really talking nothing. You know what I'm saying? So is that, is he talking about Drake? Who knows, right?
It was wolf tickets on sale till I silenced it. Pipe down, young. These some hoes.
Okay, so this album in the middle, this is Nate Dogg. There's roses under it in remembrance of Nate Dogg. And he has the candles to the left, right? So candles for the dead is something I would say that was introduced, you know, to a lot of melanated people that didn't have access to their traditions through the Latino culture. You can say what you want, but the botanicas are called botanicas, not hood, you know, spirit shops for a reason. You know what I'm saying? They have Latina names, you know what I'm saying? They're called botanicas. So this aspect is not only representing and honoring the dead, which is Nate Dogg, right? And signaling that he's dropping a double album, which is why it is attached to the pineal gland, which is the chandelier, right? Which represents a connection from the living and the dead, which is, again, the black and white aspect of this, which is why all the Latinos in this are wearing black and white. And he is here. Again, the right is Jack Chin. He shall establish. So he's establishing his connections with the Latino family, right? There is no difference. Y'all let people on the internet divide and conquer y'all. You know, some of these people are agents telling you you're this and telling you you're that and telling you, okay, we were already here. Okay, that's cool. You were already here. Great. You were African American. You're African. You're FBA. You're ADOS. You're Native American. Okay, great. Hallelujah. Clap of hands. Show of applause. Sing yourself a jingle and rock yourself to sleep. The main thing about all those cultures is, do you have a spiritual foundation to where you are honoring your ancestors? Is your culture telling you how to connect and have ancestral reverence and ancestral, not only reverence, but ancestral communication, right? This is what these rituals do. They establish a portal between you and a deceased loved one. This is why it's done. It's not done just for, you know, you don't light candles to the dead just for cool points, just to look cool, just so it's, you know, a nice thing. No, it's to conjure that person's energy and to be able to have a form of communication, a form of connection over time. All right. So that's what he is honoring and that's what he is respecting. And again, the child is in the back from Menace to Society. All right. So this is not only representing protecting the children, right? Keeping them away from certain things that are deadly that could lead them to be in a candlelight vigil, right? Nobody wants to see their child in a candlelight vigil. And this is what Menace to Society was about, right? Protecting the children. So the child is from um, Menace to Society and on the bike. So this is about protecting the children from the hood. So again, the Cholo's wearing black and white. He's doing the conjure, conjuring up the spirit of Nate Dogg, right? And they're dancing in circles as well. Circles are a big part of ritual. So you see
What a
this play out.
politics. With him and some bitch in him. That's a lot of bitch. Don't hit him. He got kids with him. My apologies. Ghetto child. He was black.
So, and also he's talking about code, right? Listen to what he says. The code, right? No women, no kids. Scarface shit, right? And honorable shit. This is how so-called thugs and gangsters that I grew up around, you know, would talk about, no women, no kids. Like that was a thing. Okay, you coming out with your kids, like the ops coming out with their kids. Nah, we ain't gonna hit the op with the kids, like with the daughters, with the babies. If you're with your girl, that might be another thing. I'm just speaking from hood politics, from where we grew up. You know what I'm saying? But if you're by if you got your kid, you should get a pass. And these type of ethics need to be reestablished in our community. And only way we could do that is as individuals. Individuals form a community. So that Kendrick is talking about his community, but he's also talking about how to make it better. And he's consulting with the spirits to help him with that in this particular ritual.
Politics. With him and some bitch in him. That's a lot of bitch. Don't hit him. He got kids with him. My apologies. Ghetto child. He was Blackie Mouse with the Smirnoff. He high. We outside. What they about to kill him?
Now, these women in the video.
Ghetto child. He was Blackie Mouse with the Smirnoff. He high. We outside. What they about to.
Now, I want y'all to see that this is the same person. This is the same person. She's wearing different jeans, but this is literally the same person. Now, I would think, honestly, that this is somebody in Kendrick's family that's actually pregnant, if not his mom. Now, I didn't deep dive enough to know that, but this is somebody who either his mom or somebody who was pregnant in the family, because this represents birth. This particular scene represents birth and it represents his childhood.
Kill him off. Black soul, black.
Now,
It's a fact. This a brick or rock. Tell me what the fuck.
You got the man with the dog, right? And I'll tell you how it represents. But after that, you got the man with the dog. All right. In the back, he got the Impala. There was actually an Instagram picture. You could deep dive and check it out. With the actually, this is not an Impala. Sorry, this is the GNX, right? So there's a picture of him remote controlling a GNX Buick after this particular or before this particular album drop. So this was something that he was also came home in this particular car from his pops drove him home from the hospital in this particular vehicle. So these women again are the same women. There's 3 of the same women. They're just wearing different pants, but it's the same woman doing the same dance steps. So this represents I'm going to say this represents his mother, right? Or this represents women in his life, or this represents him being nurtured in his childhood. But this also represents, right, the bitches, okay? Because he got the dog on the left, right? So the dog on the left, right, a female dog is a bitch, right? I'm just calling it how I see it, and he's representing it like, Kendrick talks about, his bitches and loyalty to the bitches and loyalty to women also, right, in his songs, right? So this is what he is talking about, and the joy I believe that him and his bitches have, okay, and how you can have loyalty to the bitches in the hood too. You know what I'm saying? Women in the hood are cool as hell. You know what I'm saying? If you get to know them, not all of them, but some of them, right? They'll show you how to work some a food stamp card and some government benefits right on up. You know what I'm saying? How to use the government resources to the best of your ability. They know all the hacks. All right. So again, this is what
You niggas rap if it's fictional. Tell me why the fuck you niggas fed if you criminal. Hey Doc, can I get a drop? I'm like nigga nah. Home from the west side to Senegal. It's a full moon, let the wolves out. I've been a dog. I feel good. Get the fuck out my face.
All right. So this is close to the end of the video, right? So he brings out this Jesus figure again. This is he shall establish. All right, on the right, and brown is a color that represents in symbol language. Brown is a color that represents grounding. It represents stability. It represents humility, but it also represents nature or being rooted in nature, and it represents the earth overall. So brown, right, is a color. Now this represents Isaac Hayes. Isaac Hayes had an album called Black Moses, right? Where he was supposed to be the Black Moses. And, you know, Moses were the people who freed the slaves, right? From, and this is also a play on Drake, you know, saying Kendrick's trying to free the slaves, right? So Black Moses, you know, Moses, the story of Moses is he freed the quote unquote slaves, which is not a true story, right? Moses never freed anybody. There were never any slaves in Egypt or slaves in Kemet. That's a mythology, lie. There's no slave implements. They never found any chains, any whips, any slave dungeons ever in the history of Egypt or Kemet, right? But the story, of course, in the Bible is that Moses freed the slaves from Egypt, from Pharaoh. So this is about, you know, melanated people being free from oppression, being free from their oppressors. The 40 on a sticker on the back is for the Compton swap meet. The interesting thing about the Compton swap meet is the Compton swap meet is Black owned, right? It's not one of those things that's owned by any Europeans. Who knew, right? The Compton swap meet is Black owned. The 40 on it or the sticker represents it being at a Compton swap meet, right? And as you see in that particular picture, he's in chains, right? That the picture as Isaac Hayes is Black Moses, which is what this represents, is him being free. Also the 40 on the picture, the number 4 in Supreme Mathematics, shout out to the nation of gods and earths. Supreme Mathematics, the number 4 represents culture and it represents freedom. So this all dials back to the main theme, heart-shaped heart theme, which is Christ consciousness, tapping into the heart. And this is going to be the theme of 2025 as well. Like, who really are you, right? What energy are you really projecting out in the world? And it started with the government this year, right? It started with the celebrities, right? Politics, you know, all these things are being broken down. So there's time for a resurrection, right? It's time for a revolution, right? So to speak. And the culture, right, is us going back into, and, you know, Kendrick is a Hebrew, so he might be tapping into that aspect, but not with this video, with all this Masonic symbolism, right? Either he or somebody knows something beyond that. So I'm going to say, and not for nothing, but melanated people, we have in our occult system, El Cristo Negro. So El Cristo Negro is a deity that is highly revered and highly worked with and highly honored in parts of South America. So El Cristo Negro is the melanated Christ, right? So he could be tapping into that energy as well. So, and also the sleeves, if you look, the sleeves represent the sacral chakra, right? The colors of the sacral chakra that, well, you could say the solar plexus, right? Actually, yeah, let's go solar plexus. And so the solar plexus is all about the ego, right? And the ego is not a bad thing, right? A lot of people like to demonize the ego. The ego refers to which direction you're going in life, right? Your independence, right? Which is what the Compton swap meet represents because it's Black owned, right? That's culture, right? Swamps and swap meet's been around for a while. So that means it's been passed from family to family to family, you know? So again, who cares if you're FBA? Who cares if you're ADOS? Who cares if you were already here? Who cares if you're from Africa? Who cares if you're African American, right? It's what are you tapped into your culture? What is the culture? What did the culture do? What did your indigenous culture do? What did the culture from the past do? What spirituality for they follow? What rituals did they follow? What magic do they have? All the other shit is ego and pride, and it's useless. It doesn't help anything or anyone. All it does is divide people and make people be proud of nothing. And let me not say that. There's nothing wrong with being proud of where you're from and where you come from and your heritage and your lineage, right? That's great for t-shirts. That's great for get-togethers. That's great for holidays, right? But that's about it. When it comes to personal spiritual development, right? There has to be a spiritual component to that. There has to be something that develops a culture that cultivates man, woman, and child. And right now, what's happening in the community is there's no culture that cultivates man, woman, and child. So the number 40, that four, represents that culture being freedom. And that's what all this whole video is really about, right? It's about culture. It's about representing people of different cultures. It's about representing people uh in different parts of his journey, right? And it's about not looking down on anyone, but respecting everyone from hood love, right? Respecting everyone for where they're coming from, the Latino people, and realize, look, there's a lot of the struggles that are the same. And I know there's a lot of Latino people that are racist, right? They think that they're different. They think that they're closer to European people, but they're going to soon learn, right? With all these deportations and things that's happening, that's not the case. All right. So they'll soon learn that they look at y'all the same way they look at us. You know what I'm saying? So communities are going to form, right? But it's going to be people with a Christ conscious and with a sense of culture and with a sense of spiritual and personal development that are going to really have strong and powerful communities.
Eyes look good, but she don't got no ties. I walk in, walk out with the size. Man, don't let me know what the prize. Squabble up.
Okay, so this is the end of the ritual, right? So again, it pops out, comes from right to left. And you see a lot of these scenes in this video go from right to left. The Quran is written from right to left. The Bhagavad Gita is written from right to left. The Tanakh, which is the New Testament, the Hebrew Bible, is written from right to left. The Egyptian papyrus of the Book of the Dead is written from right to left. So a lot of ancient Eastern spiritual documents are written from right to left, not how we in the West are indoctrinated to read things from left to right. So him popping out right on the right of this, again, this is he shall establish in strength. So this is his strength, and he's popping out the Black Panther. Black Panthers come from Oakland, 1966 in Oakland. And he's also talking about this is community building again, right? So the Christ consciousness of bringing salvation to the community. It's not about the messenger necessarily. It's not about Kendrick himself. One man can't save the world, no matter what leader you look to, black, white, whatever, alien, monster, whatever leader you think you're looking for outside yourself cannot save the world. Or all they could do is influence, right? Your job, our job, is to look at these things and figure out what is our passion. Because it's not about just going out doing arbitrary things to quote unquote save the community. The community is built by individuals, right? The community is built by individuals who come together on the one common cause, which is what the Black Panthers did, right? And also studying the Black Panthers' mistakes to see what they did wrong, analyzing what failures they had so that we can now improve upon their design and do it a different way, because we're in the digital age. You can't fight the same way. You're not got, and learning from the Panthers, you're not going to outgun your op. You're not going to outgun these Europeans. You're not going to outgun these pilgrims. They got more guns, more bombs, more weapons, more technology than you could ever imagine. But the one thing they cannot defeat is spirit. The one thing they cannot attack is the spirit world. The one thing that's always changed and made things better for melanated people is them being tapped into their spirituality, right? Go back to Haiti. you know, which I'll touch on another video, right? Also, the Panther is a representative of, they said Cat Williams opened up a portal. So the Panther is also a representation of that particular energy. And Cat Williams opening up the portal, the Panther is a cat. And all Cat Williams did was talk about black people. Truly. Right. All he did was talk about so-called black people. So that energy is not only about black people, but it's about exposing. And the reason we melanated people get so much attention is because we are supposed to be the cream that rises to the top in spirituality, right? We are supposed to be the vanguards of spirituality. This is not to say other cultures are not spiritual or can't be highly spiritual or nothing like that, right? This is not racism or reverse racism. This is just, it is what it is. Melanated people across the world are the people that are the most religious. They're the people that are most in church, most in temple, most in mosque. It just is in our DNA to honor spirit. So we have to get back to that type of consciousness for this to be that. Also, next year, 2025, right, we're going into the year of the wood snake. And as we get closer to 2025, I'll get more into that. But the year of the wood snake is the same year. Last time we had the year of the wood snake is the same year that the Black Panther Party was established. 1966 was also the year of the wood snake. And it was when the Black Panther Party was established. So these are glimpses into the future, how people are going to start developing more community, how they're going to have to live under the Christ consciousness and develop a spiritual culture that goes back to their ancestry, right? And of
Squabble
course,
up.
at the end
Squabble
of this,
up. Squabble up. Squabble up.
so I think this is going to be the name of his next album, Compton Christmas Parade. Now, I heard that they have a parade on the 14th. I don't know if he'll be there. I don't know if he's going to shoot a video called Compton Christmas Parade or anything like that. But this is the science of this particular video. Now, so that is covering that, and that is the signs and symbols of this particular video. So if you really look at it, right, and this is, you know, the end of the
Squabble
spell,
up.
basically,
Squabble up.
and he's dancing
Squabble
in a
up.
circle. All right. So that is that. Now let's get into some of the stuff with Drake, right? Doing the lamest thing in the world, right? You know, that he's streaming, you know. So Drake, most people know by now, Drake filed this lawsuit, right? And let me share this. Hold up. So many people know by now, Drake filed this lawsuit, and he is, you know, going after UMG, Universal Music Group. He's also going after, you know, he wants the discovery. We'll get into it, right? But what set this all off, I think, is this. I think he wasn't going to do that until this happened, this particular event. So let's get into it.
His projects that he's working on and address the haters some more. But first, here's Drizzy speaking on the album that he has coming up with Party Next Door.
Me and Party's album, like 75% done. Shout out to PX, cooking right now. Album sounds incredible. Shout out to the Six, the whole city. Anybody watching from Canada, we love you. What else?
How much, like, how many songs in an album? Like, I think they produce more, like, always kind of the same.
No, I can be like, I mean, I always have a problem making short albums. 40 always.
Okay, so last year Drake was enjoying the Super Bowl, you know, betting money on Mahomes, but this year Kendrick seemingly made him turn his TV off. Here's how Drake will be occupying his time during the Super Bowl.
Say, I wanted to announce this before we even get into gambling.
Good.
Because I'm excited. But February 9th, for anybody that's watching from Australia, I'm coming back to Australia the first time in 8 years. Coming back to Australia on tour.
So Kendrick then made this man go on tour to Australia. Kendrick just made this man go to Australia, right? Now, the other thing we want to look at, or a key piece of this, is if you look at Drake, Drake has the so he has two money signs on his, and again, Drake is wearing black, right? All black. Whatever these people, these celebrities are into doing any type of conjure, I've said this multiple times, they wear black, right? This is the magician aspect of this whole thing. They wear black and white, right? And Drake has the silver chain, these silver pendants, right? Or platinum, whatever you want to say, right? Probably diamond encrusted or whatever. Chains on. But they both have dollar signs on here, okay? And this is the main reason why Drake is doing this lawsuit. It's all about, well, first and foremost, the main reason is because he's butthurt because he lost, right? The main reason is because he's, I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine Ice Cube getting sued by NWA for no Vaseline? Can you imagine? Can you imagine Biggie suing Tupac for Hit 'Em Up? Ice Cube suing Common for the bitch in you. Ja Rule suing 50 Cent for Wankster. Meek Mill suing Drake for Back to Back. Can you imagine? How many people G Unit had beef with? And if they all sued, like Fat Joe and all of them just came together in a class action lawsuit, right? The whole New York song, Fat Joe, Jadakiss, and Ja Rule came together in the New York song and they all sued 50? Can you imagine? So that's the first thing that happened. Drake is butthurt, all right? And this is not the first time Drake has done something like this with legal action. We'll get into it. But I just want to show you that. But what the second main reason I was going to say was this is about money. This is about finances also for Drake. And Kendrick hit him with the soul shot. Whether you think he was actually, a PDF file or not, there's plenty of info out there. Alba and Preach channel. Just type in Alba and Preach Drake. And he talks about, some of the Millie Bobby Brown situations, some of the videos where he's telling a 16-year-old girl, oh, we're 16? Well, your breast still feels soft. This is not alleged. Like, the footage is out there, right? Him texting 14-year-old Millie Bobby Brown, right? Some inappropriate things and amongst other things, right? So there's enough out there to kind of, make a case of his PDF file eligibility, allegedly, all right? But so Kendrick hit him with the soul shot, right? Amanda's calculated to do a video like this that I just showed you is too calculated to just let somebody come up in his cipher and just, run amok. So listen to what Drake says next, all right? This is how hurt he is.
It's actually funny enough called the Anita Max Win Tour.
Really? No, stop.
I swear. It's the Anita Max Win Tour.
The tour is called I Need a Max Win Tour. This is how rocked and devastated the Not Like Us popularity and this other video. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Kendrick caught wind that Drake was going to do something like this, right? And decided to drop his album just because. Decided to drop the album just because, just to piss him off, right? And grinded into him even more. So Drake has these dollar sign chains on, right? And this is, again, the spell that he's trying to convince people that his value, and if you look at, and again, this is looking at the spirituality, looking deeper beyond the surface of this, the chain is not a choker chain, all right? You could say this particular dollar sign chain is on his heart. So it's representing that his real value is his money, which means he doesn't have real value at all, because true value comes from your heart. True value comes from where you are. If you have a good heart and you have courage and you have integrity, that will take you places that money can't take you. It will bring you into rooms money can't bring you. It will show you things and provide you opportunities that money can't buy. This is the importance of personal spiritual development, because the Western world has taught us all that it's all about getting the money and getting the bag. But let me tell you something from a person that's got the bag and been around the bag. that when you get the bag, once you get that money or you get that number that you think you got, and you think you got it all, and you think you hit that goal, you don't feel no different. You don't feel no different. Yeah, you hit your goal. You have a moment of, happiness, joy. But you don't feel no different because that doesn't change you. Yeah, you're comfortable. You don't have to worry about so many bills, right? You can travel more. You can take nice vacations. You can go on nice retreats, right? You can take care of your kids very well. All those things are great. We're not going to negate that aspect of it, but that's external shit. That's things outside of you. Your insecurity, your anxiety, your nervousness, your fear, your addictions, your bad habits, all those things money can't buy. Love, you can't buy love. You can't purchase that. You could purchase somebody to be there with you, sexually or even physically, but you can't buy their care. You can't buy their love. There's not a price you could put on that. So these are the things that Drake has never developed. And I believe he's the only child, I believe. And I believe he's been very, very spoiled as a child. But so him saying I need a max win, and this is the max win tour, is very, very telling about what Kendrick did to him. And I believe this happened on Monday. And I believe I saw it Monday, maybe it happened on Sunday, right? But it happened either Sunday or Monday. And I believe once he saw what I'm going to show you next is when he was like, yo, this shit is crazy. I can't have this going on. It drove him nuts.
Melbourne, Sydney, Gold Coast.
Yeah. A lot of in chat, a lot of
W's in the chat. I need a max win tour, February 9th to like March something. So Australia.
Is it just Australia or going places?
No, I'm just going to Australia for now. It's been 8 years. I haven't been back.
Oh, wow. Why did you never go back?
I don't know. That makes me sound crazy.
Because Kendrick ain't send you back, nigga.
I love it there.
Yeah. Now, an interesting moment happened on the stream, you feel me? Now, I don't know if Drake was being trolled or SQC just that damn ignorant to the culture, but Drake asked him to play some Young Thug music, and bro did that. But one track happened to be a Future feature, and the other was produced by Metro Boomin. Check this out real quick, bro.
Play some Thug. Play some Thug. I got read that.
All right, one more. Oh, wait, did I hit?
No, I didn't.
If there's a problem with the audio, so somebody's gonna have to say in the chat. Let us some more Thug. Let's do
Oh yeah, I like this one.
Give me okay. I can ask you first though, because I got a bunch of good ones lined up.
Okay, so at least Aubrey seemed to be a fair sport right there, but Drake had to address the haters one more time because it seemed like the comment section was turning up on that boy. So peek this real quick.
Shout out to X's chat, man. You guys are ruthless, man. But I love you. I have a lot of love for you guys, man.
Yeah, very ruthless.
We love all the shit talkers, all the crip walkers, man. We love you guys, man. It is what it is, man. You know.
So you said we love all the shit talkers. We love all the crip walkers because they was getting at his ass in the comments. Now people like Drake, who have all this money, you know what I'm saying, who are entertainers, right? They kind of live in a bubble, right? They're not like you and I. They isolated. They live in a bubble. They can't be around the everyday people, the everyday man. Drake walked out motherfucking, 42nd Street. The whole 42nd, even today, even with all this shit happening, the whole 42nd Street, Times Square would be chaos. You couldn't even move, right? So this is the star power that he has. So him saying, as being the biggest pop artist still to date, right? Even though Kendrick hit him with the soul shot and it took him down, Drake still could have recovered. All he had to drop was good music. All he had to drop was good songs, right? People would have forgot that shit, just like Meek Mill getting bodied by Drake. Like, people kind of forgot it, even though Meek kind of, in my perspective, is falling off now, but that's because he's not making good music. If he made good music, people ain't gonna remember that Drake shit. Just like Story of Adidon, right? Gave Drake another soul shot where he revealed his son that he's hiding from the world, right? Or was hiding from the world. Didn't stop Drake, didn't stop Pusha T from being successful. So all he had to do was continue to make good music. But this is the first time you don't know anybody until you see them under adversity. I always tell people, and I tell my daughters this even, you don't know anybody until you disagree with them. You don't know a soul until you disagree with them. You don't know who somebody is until they're under adversity. People under adversity show you who they truly are, right? When you disagree with somebody, they show you who they truly are and how they're truly going to react, right? So Drake, even though when he was giving out L's, it was all good, right? It was all good. It was all gravy. There was no problems when he was making all this money. When the bots were rigged in his favor, when the streams were rigged in his favor, when Spotify was rigged in his favor, he had no issues. But the minute he loses a rap battle, right, and his fear, I believe, after seeing these comments of what Kendrick's going to do to him on a Super Bowl stage, scared him so much that he turned into a mother effing Karen.
We love the chirps. We love the chirps. Trust me.
I think nobody like means like actual like harm and whatever, you know.
No, it is what it is. It comes with the territory. If you're gonna sit in front of the camera, you gotta take it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That sounded crazy, by the way.
Wasn't too bad.
That's like a good OnlyFans slogan or something.
All right. So that boy is crazy. That boy is crazy. So, you know, the scripture says, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So this, again, just sticks to the heart theme, the same heart theme of Kendrick's green room, representing the heart chakra. Color green represents the heart. All right. This is the same thing where Drake ain't had no heart. He ain't got no courage. He ain't standing tall. As they say, even though I'm not into tribalism, right, there is a us. There is a certain frequency, a certain vibration, a certain energy behind certain people that stand on righteousness, that stand on truth, unapologetically, violently even, aggressively, not pussy, not soft, not turn the other cheek, Jesus, more like flip the motherfucking money tables, Jesus. That's the energy some people are on with their spirituality, right? And this is not to say that, you know, there's a clear, like people like to say there's no good and bad, right? But then when people say that to them, I say, oh, so is it okay if somebody, you know, all words your little cousin, like your underage cousin? Do you think like there's no good and bad? You know, and that usually changes people's perspective because that's easy to say, right? But in real life, you want the person that your cousin's around to have some motherfucking heart, some real heart, and some ethics and some Christ consciousness. Okay, so let's not be foolish in the occult community because there's a lot of foolishness out there. And it's like, yo, we really got to think about what we're saying when we're telling this to people that there's no good and bad. Now, externally, the external law, man's good and bad. Man's good and bad is bullshit, right? Humans good and bad is bullshit. The terrestrial law is bullshit. But spiritual law, as we've seen playing out, Drake, Diddy, you know, YouTubers, influencers, people that have no real integrity, no truth in heart, right? Are not living by ideals of being their true higher self, not just, you know, having magical ability or conjure. Anybody could do that, but developing the inner person, developing the heart to be not only one with all, but their own heart, so that they're not fearful, that they're more courageous. No matter what happens, no matter what adversity, you know that you're a God body and that nothing can take you down. And that's what Drake doesn't know. Even with all the money in the world, he still doesn't have that self-awareness, that self-knowledge. He doesn't have any knowledge of self. Therefore, he does not have knowledge of what his heart truly is. And if he did, he'd know that he is all and all is him. So he wouldn't have to worry about, you know, somebody taking down his career, because nobody could take down his career. He'll have the ability to alchemize and turn even what Kendrick did to him into a positive in some way. So, but again, this is why Drake's really doing this. It's about money. So let's look at this.
Gigs. What if I told you it may lead to a $600 million deal? So in 2022, Drake signed a deal with Universal worth around $400 million, but there was never any information about the obligations of this deal. But after 5 projects and the highest grossing rap tour ever, it's a negotiation tactic. 100 Gigs was created to show Universal and the music industry in general what he would do if he was independent. He would create a website, drop music and content where he would control everything. There has been some theories as to why Drake was dropping right to Instagram instead of Spotify or Apple Music. But to be honest, it's to make more money, because now Meta pays based on how many accounts use your song. So you drop it on social first, everybody's going crazy about it, everybody wants it, and then you drop it on Spotify after, and everybody continues to stream it there as well. But the Six God also showed the blueprint of how he would take down the music industry. But my guess is he'll get around a $600 million deal from Universal, because like Russ said, if Drake goes independent, the music industry's over. This is the real reason why Drake dropped 100 gigs. What if I told you? It may lead to a $600 million deal. So in 2022, Drake signed a deal with Universal worth around $400 million, but there was never any information about the obligations of this deal. But after 5 projects and the highest grossing rap tour ever, it's a negotiation tactic. 100 gigs was created to show Universal and the music industry in general what he would do if he was independent. He would create a website, drop music and content, where he would control everything. There has been some theories as to why Drake was dropping right to Instagram instead of Spotify or Apple Music. But to be honest, it's to make more money, because now Meta pays based on how many accounts use your song. So you drop it on social first, everybody's going crazy about it, everybody wants it, and then you drop it on Spotify after, and everybody continues to stream it there as well. But the Six God also showed the blueprint of how he would take down the music industry. But my guess is he'll get around a $600 million deal from Universal, because like Russ said, if Drake goes independent, the music industry's over.
So the big deal about this is that Drake this year, unbeknownst to mostly all of us, we didn't know that Drake was testing the waters for his renegotiation with Universal, right? So that's why I said this thing is about Drake being butthurt, but it's also about money, right? Because the same streaming bots have been streaming for him, right? The same, and we'll get into that, but all the same tactics that he's accusing UMG of, and now he filed a suit with iHeartRadio saying that there's a payola and a pay for play, and they're paying DJs to play Not Like Us. No, Not Like Us is a bot. Like, it's a bot. Like, I remember being in downtown Manhattan, you know, and seeing like a whole bunch of white girls walking on the street like, they not like us, dancing side to side. And I'm like, wait, hold up, wait, are you us? Like, you're us, okay? Like, you know what I'm saying? But hey, they felt the vibe, they wanted to dance to it. So this is not like the song went viral, and were there some marketing dollars behind it? Possibly. But Drake Kendrick went against the biggest rapper at the time, right? The biggest rapper in the world. He went against him. And to be quite honest and being objective, Kendrick was on his downward spiral. That last album, Mr. Morale, was not very good, in my opinion, right? It was an okay album, but it wasn't very good, in my opinion. So Kendrick was on his way down, but this battling with Drake, right, brought him right back up. Now, who's to say he would have made this GNX album? I like the GNX album, and I'll talk about it in another video, right? But who's to say he would have made another album or made this GNX album the way it was if he didn't battle with Drake? Because one of the things that Kendrick learned is that he learned how to make like more upbeat music. Like on this album, there's more dance tracks. There's more like radio-friendly, female-friendly tracks, right? There's a lot of bumps on this particular album, GNX. But Drake, the main reason is Drake is mad because Drake was about to renegotiate. He was about to re-up. He signed a $400 million deal with Universal, okay? Right? It says Drake's latest move is a bold negotiation tactic showcasing his potential power as an independent artist, right? So he dropped 100 gigs on his website, but it didn't have the motion that he probably thought it would have. The music on that 100 gigs didn't have the motion that he thought it would have, right? Then Kendrick comes out again, right? So he wants to renegotiate for $600 million, for a $600 million deal, right? This is October 21st when this dropped. So this is before Kendrick's albums dropped, right? And this is after Not Like Us, okay? So he wanted to get a $600 million deal after already signing a $400 million deal in 2022. And basically this deal, they own everything. So they got the publishing, tours, all that goes to Universal, right? UMG or Republic. He signed a Republic. So they take everything, right? And UMG is also the umbrella or parent company for Kendrick as well, right? They're both under the same umbrella. It's just Kendrick is now leasing his music under PGA Lang, right? They don't own everything like they own Drake. So Drake basically signed a 360 deal for $400 million. That's not a bad, cost for a 360 deal. Now it says this could lead to a $600 million deal. All right. So the fact that this happened, right? He's playing victim. He's crying victim. He's saying, yo, this Kendrick situation is costing me bread, right? It's costing me payola. So because this Kendrick situation. Now Kendrick's gonna do. He got picked for the Super Bowl. Could potentially drop Night Like Us during the Super Bowl, which, you know, as an artist myself, you know, of course not as big as Kendrick, but somebody who's a creative, I don't think Kendrick is going to do Not Like Us again. I think Kendrick has so many other songs that he doesn't have to do Not Like Us again. Like, for what? He's already done that. He did it on his show. He did it 4 times. Like, Kendrick has plenty more bangers. So he doesn't have to do that unless for some, you know, odd reason he wants to. But wasn't I sharing? Hold on. Wasn't I sharing? Let's give it 1 second, y'all. But yeah, he doesn't have to do that. Give me 1 second. And you know, this whole lawsuit thing is like banana cakes. Like, why would you? Like, but I get, but if you look behind the scenes, like, I see what he's doing, but he's doing it and he's suing for the same reasons that got him to where he was. Like, says Drake threatens to sue Universal Music Group, Spotify for inflating Not Like Us streams, right? So Drake is taking his rap beef with Kendrick Lamar to court. In a petition filed Monday in New York Supreme Court, the Canadian rapper accused Universal Music Group and Spotify of engaging in a scheme to ensure Kendrick Lamar's diss track Not Like Us broke through on multiple streaming platforms. He claimed UMG used underhanded tactics to garner more listens for the Lamar song on Spotify and radio stations, which resulted in Not Like Us breaking a few Spotify records and landing at #1 twice on the Billboard Top 100. Right? So here's what happened. Right? As a person who worked in the sales field, right, and was manager at several call centers, this is what happened. So when you got a person that's on your team, you know, you'll have sometimes a person that gets hot, like kind of like a basketball player when they're in the zone, right? They can't miss. So this person on the phone, he might be hot for 1, 2, 3, even a week or whatever, a month, right? He's just hot. You know, everybody he talks to wants to buy. You know, everything he's selling, people want to get, right? His voice is right that day. You know, his charm is right that day. Everything's working. He's able to sell what he wants to sell. So what you do is you feed him leads. You feed that person more leads, bigger opportunities, bigger deals, because he's closing. He's a closer. So he's closing. He's hot, right? He's hot. So you feed him the deals because he's in a closing streak. So the big deals that come in, that you might have gave to somebody else, you give to him or her, right? So what happened was Not Like Us blew up. Kendrick Lamar, you know, the song went crazy. People loved it. People loved Not Like Us. It blew up. So do I think Spotify did this? Yeah. Do I think they had a scheme to garner more listeners? Yes, right? You feed the hot hand. Just like on a basketball court. If somebody kept Steph Curry shooting threes, Draymond, you better not shoot the motherfucking 3. You better not. Andre Wiggins, you better not hoist that ball up past the 3-point line. You better give it to Steph, because Steph is hot, right? So UMG is like, yo, we're going to feed the rock, right? UMG schemes to artificially inflate the popularity of Not Like Us were motivated, at least in part, by the desire of executives at Interscope Records. Jimmy Iovine is the head of Interscope Records, by the way, and he has a sexual abuse lawsuit of his own. People don't talk about that, but he, along with Mayor Eric Adams, also have, you know, sexual abuse lawsuits. Not a lot of publicity on those things because they're, you know, supposedly bigger than the celebrities. But so it says, as such, Drake asked the court to order the companies to hand over evidence related to his claims, otherwise known as a pre-action discovery, so he could file a legal complaint. So a lot of people are like, oh, he didn't sue. Yeah, but he's about to, right? There's a pre-action discovery, so he's about to sue. So it's still Justice Lane. Like, the Drake defenders, y'all got to get out of here. Y'all doing too much. And you're just not being, you know, right and exact. You're in your feelings. The rapper took the legal dispute along state lines with another filing in Texas made public Tuesday. The new petition accused UMG of making funnel payments the iHeartRadio as part of a pay-to-play scheme to spread the song across the airwaves. Now, they've been doing this. You know what I'm saying? This ain't nothing new. This is something that's been happening. Then they did it for Drake. Yes, for Drake. They did it for Drake. Okay. With the release of Drake's latest album, Scorpion, on Friday. This is the Scorpion album. Spotify spent the weekend spreading the news with a promotional takeover that might have helped hype up fans, but also turned off some. So what Drake did during this particular promotion is on Spotify, every single playlist, right? They'll say it here, I believe, but every single playlist. So heralding what was referred to as what Spotify referred to as Scorpion season. Drake was placed so prominently on the streaming service's editorial playlist that his image was even used on those that did not feature his music. I don't know why my stream deck's not working. I can't play no sounds right now. We gotta see what that is. But do you see what they're saying? Right? That they did not, that even images, that even playlists that didn't have his music, Best of British, right? Hold on. I think they have it down here, actually. Computer's going slow right now. And this is an example of some of the playlists. So Drake was on every single playlist on Spotify. Every single playlist, right? Let's look at this again. He's on this is when the Scorpion album dropped. Every single playlist they put Drake's face on. Do you think Drake earned that? Do you think Drake, like, that was via merit? Or were they feeding the hot hand? Or were they giving Drake the big leads? Were they giving Drake preferential treatment by putting him on Best of British, massive dance hits, and happy pop hits? This is the first time a single artist has taken over multiple Spotify playlists on the same day. Drake, what are you talking about? This is some sore loser shit. This is soft. This is not light-skinned. This is light-skinned. There's some light-skinned dudes that would never do this. This is light-skinned. Like, this is extra light-skinned. For you to be suing for a rap battle. But I get it. He's like, yo, I can't negotiate the same way that I would negotiate if this never happened. If you never pumped up Kendrick's numbers. If you never did to him, for him, I should say, what you did for me. If you never did for him, what you did for me. The same thing you probably did when I was battling Meek Mill. The same thing you probably did when I was battling Pusha T. Protect your investment. And they're both your investment. And if somebody is up on your team, Kendrick was up. People was fucking with Not Like Us more than your this song. Yeah, we're gonna feed the hot hand. This is business. Or business the way it's done now in the record industry. But this is not new for Drake to sue. The Grassy writer says Drake threatened legal action to get his character out of a wheelchair. This is not written recently. This was written in 2021. Okay. Drake's character wound up in a wheelchair after being shot. Degrassi, The Next Generation, was known for its honest storylines during his 15-season run, but there's one plot point that starred Drake was reportedly so against that he nearly took drastic measures to put an end to it. His character, Jimmy, used a wheelchair when he was paralyzed from the waist down after he was shot in season 4 episode. Drake, who then went by the name Aubrey Graham, reportedly did not want the character to end up like that. There was a letter from a law firm in Toronto, and it was from Aubrey. It was an odd letter that said Aubrey Graham will not return to Degrassi to season 6 as Jimmy Brooks unless his injury is healed and he's out the wheelchair. All right. So basically, he says this. Listen to this. This is a quote. I said, he says Hearst. So Hearst has an eye, says Drake has an eye on his burgeoning rap career. He says, I said, get him down here. He came in and was like, what letter? I don't know about that. And I said, all right, I understand. But how do you feel about the wheelchair? He's like, all my friends in the rap game say I'm soft because I'm in a wheelchair. First things first about rap, hip hop doesn't give a fuck about if you're in a wheelchair, if you're not in a wheelchair. Hip hop cares, are you authentic and can you rap, right? Are you entertaining? Do the songs make me bop? Do they make me dance? Do they make me think? Do they make me bob my head? Do they put me in a good mood? Do they put me in a mood or evoke some sort of feeling in me that stirs me in some sort of way? Nobody's going to say you're soft, but this is what happens when you are a culture vulture. This is what happens when you are a colonizer. And with this, Kendrick was right all along, right? So he already has tried to sue, right? And it says, Hearst says Drake ultimately dropped the matter, right? Today has reached out to Drake for comment. This was back in 2021, but did not receive an immediate response, all right? So, this is wild that he tried to take legal action to get a character out of a wheelchair, So this is spoiled. This is a spoiled boy, right? This is somebody whose mother did too much for them, who coddled them, who told them everything was great in the world. And Drake's emotional strictly by his music, right? But this is the guy who ushered in a new generation of fingernail wearers. And I wish my stream drop was here, so I'm gonna drop a bomb. He ushered in a new generation of fingernail polish wearers, of telling kids to pop all type of drugs and take all type of pills. Juice WRLD OD'd. Rich Homie Quan OD'd. Okay, there's questionable circumstances surrounding XXXTentacion and him regarding XXXTentacion's death. This is the guy that ushered in the cosplaying of different cultures and taking different people's styles and reimagining it, going from coast to coast, trying to take new swag because he didn't have his own swag. He's hip hop's first Karen, the first person to tell ever in hip hop. This is the guy that ushered in, boys talking more about their feelings than what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with a man being in touch with their emotions, but a man has to be more logical, more assertive, and more aggressive than he is in touch with his emotions. That's what women do. Women are designed that way because they're nurturers. They got to take care of the kids. If a man is going to war and he's out fighting and out for war, she's got to be the one to protect the children. So she has to be more careful. Her feelings have to be intact. Right? Where a man necessarily may sacrifice for his whole family to the point of death. That hero energy. So, yeah, Jedi says some cats are used to you losing. Yeah. So he's never really saw any big losses. So this is why he's doing what he's doing. All right. Gotta get out of here soon. So so basically, let's read a little bit of this. So this is actually a European pilgrim dude saying Drake suing UMG is simultaneous. Hold up, let me see this. Drake suing UMG is simultaneous the lamest but most important thing in music. So this is going to change the music industry if Drake is successful. And going into 2025 and the energy around 2025, the wood snake energy, right, and China's astrology, I'll say that is exactly what he is going to do. All right. So it says, with all that being said, these three things are happening simultaneously. Suing over a diss track being too popular is objectively lame. Litigation in general isn't cool. It's snitching. It's pussy. It's weak. All those things are lame. but particularly in the rap world. Now, again, this is a Caucasian dude saying this. If your ego and pride and power are currency, suing your opponent in any fashion is showing you're culturally bankrupt. Hip hop culture is never going to embrace any form of snitching. I don't know about that. They accept this 6ix9ine. But anyway, and in a battle where the war cry was Drake is not us, this solidifies it. I'm not fully qualified to speak on the matter, but I would imagine that a lot of the rap industry and black culture view this as white people shit. We do, my nigga. Suing when you lose is Karen behavior. That's what white people do. All right, and they ask for the manager. Suing is asking for the ultimate manager. So not only is suing over a diss track when you lose a battle objectively lame, but there's another layer for a guy who is a light-skinned, biracial, half-Jewish rapper who have always been accused of not truly being a part of the culture, but taken away from it. It's like Drake, your white side is showing, all right? So that's his first critique, but this is the important part, or the revolutionary part about all this. While all that is true, simultaneously what Drake is doing what might be the most important thing in modern music history, and that's taking down the music industry. And this is where we get into the non-hero worship aspect of this, and I like the way he broke this down. Exposing Spotify and labels for colluding and forcing them to potentially open up the books for public record could potentially change music for the better forever. This lawsuit isn't about Kendrick Lamar. It's about the shady, shadowy, seedy billionaires getting exposed for the shit bags that they are, right? He says, think about it, anytime there's a labor dispute in sports, yes, there's a typical take of this is just millionaires arguing over a game. But anyone with half a brain knows that it's the owners who are being greedy scumbags. While, yes, athletes make millions, or rappers make millions, owners make billions, okay? So he's basically saying that, God, give me 1 second. So he's saying, no, this is another part. I promise you, no matter how much you hate Drake, and believe me, I know all the reasons. Like DMX and then Kendrick say, I hate the way that he walks, I hate the way that he talks, I hate the way that he dresses. Drizzy BBL, the hair braids, the code switching, the culture vulture behavior, right? But he also talks about like Kendrick, right? And he says, based on the facts of the matter, the general public would always automatically side with artists over label. If some anti-establishment, punk rock, fuck the man artist were leading this cause, they'd be regarded as a hero, right? But it's Drake. People are failing to see the forest for the trees, right? But he says, being unable to separate the facts of the matter, the substance of an issue, or the right and wrong of a situation, simply because of personal hatred for some of the parties involved, is legitimately and without an exaggeration one of the biggest problems in the world today. All right. So that isn't really the chapter I want to read, but this is the main point. All right. So let's go. So this is it. So think about it this way. Drake is trying to take down the establishment, the same one that Kendrick is in bed with. Okay. So remember, I showed you the video that there is Freemasonry in there. So somebody knows something, either him or somebody. I'm not saying he's controlled opposition, but I am saying, right, those of us on this particular esoteric spiritual path don't worship anyone. Okay. Don't look up to anyone, because anyone could be compromised. Follow the message, not the messenger. All right. So, but I believe 100% that the bots and corruption mentioned in this lawsuit is most certainly going on. Not just for Kendrick, though. I believe this is happening with everyone. I do too. And it is a system that some people, like Kendrick and Drake himself, benefit from. And it's a system the rest of the artists get completely fucked by. Drake is basically blowing the whistle and taking on the man, while Kendrick is riding every possible wave of institution he possibly can. From music labels, the corrupt-ass Grammys, to the fucking Pulitzer Prize Committee. But yet, somehow, Drake is the problem. Mr. Watch the Party died, Kendrick Lamar, whose name has now become synonymous with every single name in big business to now, the NFL, is somehow the people's champ. That's about as ridiculous as middle America making Donald Trump the working class hero. And I was thinking about this myself, and I was thinking Kendrick, although the song is called Not Like Us, Kendrick doesn't live like us or the middle class or the working class. Kendrick Lamar probably has a multi-million-dollar mansion, probably has a couple of chefs, butlers, the best lawyers, the best food, the best masseuses, the best spas, the best trips, the best vacations, right? He's, as they say, living high on the hog, right? He's definitely not where most people that his music is marketing to resonate on. So we have to be careful about like hero worship, right? And look at these things for how they could benefit us. That's why me doing the decode, yeah, I pointed out, the things, but also what the main point is and what he's trying to convince. But again, it's not about the messenger, it's about the message. So yes, he may be identifying with quote unquote us, but he also is not like us. The party's not dying and Kendrick ain't the one killing it. He is the party right now. Listen to the last album, right? But nobody wants to hear that. Why? Because Drake is viciously lame and indispensable. Now I want to show y'all this, right? He's talking more about the legal shit, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Things we just covered. But this is the last point, right? This is the last point. Hold on. Or is it, or did I miss it? Hold on. Maybe I did miss it. But there's a point where they talk about Israel is how Israel is actually, or Universal Music Group, UMG, lobbies for Israel, right? And Drake filed a petition that said, or Drake signed something that said he was with Gaza and the Palestinians, and that could be causing all this, right? So I don't know where that is in this article, but it was here. But anyway, but yeah, so that's also an interesting way of looking at it. Like they could be colluding with him because he didn't show the same support of Israel. So that's also why they pumped up Kendrick stream. So maybe they just don't want to give him the 600 mil. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're business. They don't want to pay him 600 mil. So if they inflate Kendrick against Drake and Drake starts to fall off and his catalog is weaker, it gives them more negotiating power. Right? So he is right. But the same thing, but what's wrong is the same thing happened to him. So two things can be true, right? The same people that were pumping up his music when he was going against Meek Mill, right? When he was battling Pusha T, the same people that were pushing his music and pushing him to the top, right? Using the same payola, the same pay for play, the same bots, right? The same things that we proven we're doing are doing the same thing for Kendrick. And Kendrick just is again he's hot right now. The ball's in his court. He got the Super Bowl going. So yeah, they want to make money. So they're gonna feed the hot hand. So a lot of this talk, right? California is named after an African queen. They try to say in this particular AI overview, it's fictional, right? But we know that if you trust the colonizer, right, fully, you'll never know the truth. So it says the California region is named after Queen Khalifa, a fictional character in a 1510 novel, whatever. In this story, Queen Khalifa is the ruler of a mythical island of California, populated by Black women who live like warrior Amazons. The queen wears fishbone armor, uses gold weapons, and commands an army of griffins. Now, there's a lot to decode even in that, right? The fishbone being the subconscious, right? The gold weapons representing the heart, right? And the army of griffins, right? I don't know what that is yet, but I'll figure it out. But this just shows that the California region, right, has a title or has a link to melanated people, in particular melanated women, which are featured in the Kendrick video as well, right? So it's no surprise that something new or giving birth to something new, which is what women do, right? The melanated woman is the first woman to give birth to civilization. That this would not come out of the West, right? This type of ideation and this spirit or this energy would not come out of the West. And oh, StreamYard's playing with me again. All right, hold on. Let me do this. But last but not least, so what's really going on and what's really happening is we are in a space where we are coming into revolution, right? Revolution has multiple meanings, as it says here. So revolution is a sudden or radical change in a country's government, often involving violence or war. We're not going to have a revolution in here in America, the poor and the downtrodden and the working class folks with violence. You'll never win. And all right, you have to have a spiritual war, a war of the invisible worlds. All right. Social war, a significant change in society or social structure. Well, Trump's coming in office. You see the appointees, right? You see all the changes he's talking about making. There's going to be a change. You see crypto pumping, right? There's going to be a change, right? Change, a major change in the way people do things. All right. Circular movement, such as the Earth's revolution around the sun, a change in thinking. Okay. And so, really, the theme of 2025, as we are entering Pluto into Aquarius, is revolution. Okay. And we'll talk about that very soon in New Moon and Sagittarius and my video on what is it? Not Pluto and Capricorn. Damn, I'm forgetting what it is. Somebody tell me in the comments. It's not we're coming out of Pluto and Capricorn, and we're going into. Hold on, I'll tell you. I'm just drawing a blank right now. Maybe it's because I know I gotta go. I'm running late, but Pluto and Aquarius. Yeah, so we're going into Pluto and Aquarius. So that means change, transformation, all of that, right? And this is where we are here and now. So this is why Drake is crashing out. This is a lesson for all of us. Don't be so enamored with your own star, that you don't recognize the star of others, and understand that change is coming. As I always say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and heal at heart. All right, because that is what 2024 is going to really. That's the key word. Where your heart at. 2025. The key word is where your heart at. All right, y'all. Till next time. Peace, power, and prosperity. I'm out.